Got View live at Uncut, and I'm your host, a special guest host today, and you could call me the man without fear, and a lot of people just call me Daredevil. That's fine too. So we're still going to talk latest and greatest in Hudson County news. So let's talk a little bit about North Hudson Regional Fire and Rescue. Obviously, we heard now that North Bergen wants to withdraw, and they want to team up with Guttenberg and form their own department. So while we're not sure about the particulars yet, we do know that there's a 5-year clause that was enacted last year where anybody could exit the 5-municipality department. So we're going to talk about that. Obviously, that's a big one. And of course, that's the latest round in State Senator and Union City Mayor Brian Stack against North Bergen Mayor Nick Sacco. Also, of course, we got a lot more about CarePoint Health. And when we're talking Bayonne Medical Center, Christ Hospital in Jersey City, and the Hoboken University Medical Center, we're always talking about something dramatic these days. And what we have this time around is the CEO resigned, and now all of a sudden the old CEO is back in. And it looks like HRH, that's Hudson Regional Hospital out of Secaucus, of course, wants to run the hospital chain. So let's see how feasible that is in the days coming forward. But this, in my opinion, looks pretty likely. So a lot developing there. And a bit of breaking news, just in the past, I'd say 2 hours or so, we heard from the Jersey Journal, and after 157 years in operations, they are going to be closing early next year in 2025. So we're going to tell you about that. And today, my guest is the Congressman for the 8th District, and that's Rob Menendez. So we're going to talk about all that and a whole lot more right after this word from our sponsors.
No one plans on heart disease, but everyone should have a plan for it. We help patients of all lifestyles and medical histories plan for healthy hearts. We offer convenient screenings without judgment, hundreds of preventive programs, and women's heart specialists. And we're the largest cardiac surgery program in New Jersey. Make plans for a healthy heart with RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one path stop away, or a quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net.
Hudson County View live at Uncut, the man without fear, Daredevil. Now we're going to talk a little bit again about the Jersey Journal. So the Jersey Journal, 157 years in operations. Obviously, that's not a small number. Over a century and a half. They're going to cease publication on Saturday, February 1st. Now, a lot of people were talking about this morning. The Star Ledger came out. Of course, that's New Jersey's largest newspaper. And they said that on that date, they're going to cancel their publication, meaning that the print version for that and other affiliated papers. So a lot of people, for those few minutes in the interim, maybe that was 15, 20, 30 minutes at the most, they were like, all right, well, I guess we'll just get our news online, which most people do anyway. And then we got this blockbuster around 10 o'clock. So it's credited as the Journal staff And, speaks for itself. After serving Hudson County for 157 years, the Jersey Journal announced Wednesday that it will cease publication on Saturday, February 1. The newspaper said it could not remain in business following a decision by the Star-Ledger to close its production facility in Montville, NJ, which prints the Jersey Journal and several other newspapers. The Journal outsourced its printing several years ago to the Star-Ledger. And, look, there's more, but not really too much else to say. I'll just read this quote from David Blomquist. And if you don't know David, he's actually the editor and publisher of the Journal. And he said, "We fought as hard as we can for as long as we could. An online-only publication simply would not have enough scale to support the strong, politically independent journalism that has distinguished the Journal." So, looks like this is set in stone. And look, to me, obviously, I'm a former Journal intern. For those of you guys don't remember, it was many years ago. But, late 2011 into about mid-2012. And, without those folks, the likes of Terrence McDonald, Augie Torres, Margaret Schmidt, Ron Zeitlinger, and Kenneth Thurbo, if I'm not mistaken, Thurborn, I believe. Sorry about that, but it's been a lot of years. But, without all those folks, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today. So, I do owe a debt of gratitude to them. And even though that we've been competitors in recent memory, certainly I have fond memories of them. And, it's tough. It's tough for a lot of people involved. I feel bad for the reporters that were just getting their start. And even the production people that were helping actually put the paper together. So, it's a bit of a somber day here in Hudson County. We just lost the Hudson Reporter. I believe that was only last year. And, now this is an even bigger loss. So, I guess we're going to see what we see in the coming days, but that's certainly not something I was expecting to talk about today. Now, with that, we're going to move on to some of the other topics I mentioned at the top of the program. So let's talk about North Hudson Regional Fire and Rescue. Now, out of nowhere, literally no one I know saw this coming yesterday. North Bergen officials came out and said, we're going to join up with Guttenberg. You guys remember I reported in August that they have a lawsuit against the agency to try to get out. And we're going to form our own department. So Mayor Sacco said Brian Stack has consistently put his own political agenda of what's best for North Bergen Hudson residents, but when he attacked our youngest children and opposed our plans to provide them with special educational facilities they deserve, including many students with special needs, he crossed a line and made it impossible for us to continue working together in any way. So obviously this is a bombshell in its own right. Again, just totally out of the blue. Obviously, we know that Sacco and Stack have been fighting over what's going on at James J. Braddock Park, that pre-K trailer that's been there for over 2 decades. I think it's 24 years. And apparently, North Bergen just said, we're drawing our line in the sand, and that's that. So, there's a little more here, but I think those are really the finer points. When I spoke to Richard Turner, and he's actually the chairman of the board there, he had quite a bit to say, and he said, my own opinion is that whatever else goes on politically should not affect the efforts of our fully functioning fire department and the lives of the residents of the district. If that's their intention, I would guess it will cost millions to dissolve since it costs millions to form. Mind you, this department's been in operations about 25 years. For those of you that maybe aren't too familiar, it serves Guttenberg, North Bergen, Union City, West New York, and Weehawken, again, North Hudson. So, and when I spoke to Senator Stack, he said, I don't know how North Bergen having a school for 23 years at a county park is related to our fire department, but this is a temper tantrum of Mayor Sacco and his allies. How one thing is tied to another just doesn't make sense at all. So that probably would have been enough there, but then you could maybe call it salt on the wound, but whatever you want to call it, we saw the next morning, which was Tuesday morning, Assemblymen Julio Marenco and John Allen of the 33rd and 32nd legislative districts, respectively, are talking about a draft bill that would give the State Department of Community Affairs financial oversight over North Hudson Regional Fire and Rescue. And, this was led by Guttenberg Mayor Wade Zitt, this effort. He's the one that said he advocated for the bill. And he said, I am hopeful a New Jersey bill will soon be introduced and passed so that 5 members, towns, taxpayers are treated fairly and equally. I requested this numerous times during my tenure as mayor. With no oversight, the NHRFR's finances are set up to especially benefit towns with huge development projects such as Weehawken and West New York, who are avoiding paying their fair share to fund the department. This creates excessive costs for the taxpayers of Guttenberg. And I spoke to Assemblyman Marenco. He said, Mayor Zitt is correct that establishing robust oversight of our regional fire department's finances is vital to maintaining public trust and ensuring that our fire services operate effectively and efficiently. Now, I spoke to Turner again on this, and he basically said, you know, the DCA has reviewed us as recently as last year. No problems, no red flags. This is what they want to do. They could go ahead and do it. But again, public safety should get compromised by politics. So with that, folks, we're about to take a break. When I come back, I'll be sitting down with 8th District Congressman Rob Menendez.
Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Comprehensive healthcare is here, and here. RWJ Barnabas Health is healing, enhancing, and investing in Hudson County with its 2 newest locations, Hoboken and Exchange Place. Within walking distance or accessible by mass transit, our locations combine convenience with primary and specialty care, including cardiology, women's health, orthopedics, cancer care, and more. Let's be healthy together.
Panapinto Properties, Jersey City, shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces and addresses your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panapintodevelopment.com. Panapinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
That's Uncut View, live and Uncut. Daredevil, the man without fear. And as advertised, today my guest is Congressman Rob Menendez, our representative in New Jersey in the 8th District. Congressman, nice to see you.
Sir, great to be with you.
Yes.
Thank you for your service to our communities.
Same to you.
Thank you.
Now, all right, so all jokes aside, I know that there's just so many things to talk about, both nationally and locally, but let's start with this. So there's rally at Madison Square Garden by former President Trump, the Republican nominee. A lot of people had a lot of strong opinions, neo-Nazi rally, so on and so forth. And there was this one particular comedian in question that called Puerto Rico something to the effect of a piece of garbage, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of people had a lot of strong points, including President Joe Biden. So when you're looking at the final days of the campaign for president, what are you thinking about? And what do you think about what happened in the past, 48 hours or so?
Yeah, so let's start with what happened at MSG. And it's, again, just when people show you and tell you who they are, it's up to you to believe them. And I think at this point, through 8 years of either Trump campaigns and his presidency, and now again, another campaign, he's shown that these are the people that he surrounds himself with. I love this community, as you know, this district, and we have a rich Puerto Rican community here. And you can't say things like that and not expect a response. And saying things like that have real consequences. And we should not be desensitized to being used to hearing these things coming out of the Trump campaign. Words matter, and the words that were used throughout the MSG event were not reflective of who we are and not reflective of who we should want to be as a country, right? Like, we shouldn't want to talk about that. I was going to use a word that I can't say on television. But we shouldn't talk about people like that. We shouldn't talk about communities like that. We shouldn't want others to talk, and we certainly shouldn't want our leaders to, right? We're so much better than that. Right? And we just have to demand that of ourselves, demand that of our leaders, and get to a really constructive conversation. That's not happening with the Trump candidacy, with the Trump campaign, and it's truly difficult to watch.
Now, on that point, I don't think there's much to elaborate on. You're very clear there. But on that point, President Biden, yesterday in remarks publicly, he said that Trump supporters are the real pieces of garbage. Again, I'm paraphrasing, but pretty similar, throwing it back at them. A lot of people upset about that. I mean, your thoughts on that aspect?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're constantly responding to everything that comes out of the Trump campaign, right? And I think sometimes things are not going to be articulated the way that they should. I do believe that President Biden loves all Americans, all folks who get to call this country home. I don't think he meant anything about anyone that's supporting former President Trump. They're our fellow Americans, and we have deep disagreements about who should be the next president. But if we want to say that the other side needs to be more respectful of differing views and differing lifestyles, we have to do that ourselves. You'll never hear me with rhetoric like that. We engage with folks who are all over the political map, different backgrounds. We try to treat people with respect. That's what we should all be doing. I think if we were, the national discourse would be in a much different place. And that's what we really need to commit ourselves to.
Now, on the point of national discourse, thanks for that. On the point of national discourse last week, your opponent sat in this very chair, Anthony Valdez, and he actually was pretty measured. I mean, he didn't actually take any attacks at you. Of course, he was very adamant about his support for President Trump and the Republican agenda for the most part, but he actually kept it pretty above board by Hudson County standards, if I say so myself. So just anything about this campaign, obviously it's not supposed to be close, but you're still on the ballot and you still got a race to run, right?
Yeah. Listen, we did a panel together during the primary that Anthony was a part of. We've seen each other at events. And listen, I always give credit for people who raise their hand to want to do elective office. It's a challenging time to do it. We clearly have disagreements on policy issues, but I respect him for raising his hand and wanting to lend his voice to this election. And he's doing what he can to be out there and conveying those messages to voters. We disagree, but we can do so in a cordial, respectful way.
Okay. Now, on that, we talked about a lot when he was here. We talked about Gaza. We talked about, to a small extent, Ukraine, gun control, women's choice. I mean, was there anything there that stood out to you or not particularly?
Well, listen, I think I heard him say, I watched the interview and I heard him say that he's a pro-choice Republican, which is great. But I also heard him say he supports Donald Trump, right? And we saw what the first term of Donald Trump did for reproductive health care in this country, his appointment of very conservative Supreme Court justices, the reversal of Roe with the Dobbs decision. I didn't think his answer on gun violence prevention was incredibly convincing. We do need to remove weapons of war from our streets. We've seen the scourge of gun violence in our communities, and that's something I've been proud to fight for in terms of gun violence prevention and a host of other issues. I do believe that if Ukraine were to fall to Putin, that would have immense consequences for our country and our NATO allies. So that's why I've been steadfast in my support of Ukraine and a number of other issues. There are serious policy disagreements, and I'm happy to go over those anytime. But those were a couple of things that stood out to me.
All right, makes sense. I've got a lot more, but about ready for a break, so just hang tight, Congressman. We'll be right back.
No one plans on heart disease, but everyone should have a plan for it. We help patients of all lifestyles and medical histories plan for healthy hearts. We offer convenient screenings without judgment, hundreds of preventive programs, and women's heart specialists. And we're the largest cardiac surgery program in New Jersey. Make plans for a healthy heart with RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one pass stop away, or a quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
Hudson County View live on Uncut. John Arhidis still here with Congressman Rob Menendez of the 8th District. And by the way, I didn't tell him that I was wearing this, so thank you for being a good sport.
John, good to see you.
Yeah, so good one. So anyway, now we were just talking about your re-election, and actually what was fun yesterday, which I didn't expect to see, actually it was on Monday, but I wrote about it yesterday, was that Councilman Solomon, who, hasn't been your best friend in recent memory, came out and endorsed you, and you were happy to promote the endorsement. So how'd you guys end up getting there?
Hey, listen, James and I have had a relationship for several years. We both live and represent parts of Jersey City. And he obviously took a different approach to the primary. But at the end of the day, as we talked about during the primary, we were simultaneously working with all of our partners. We had done work in Hoboken, despite the fact that Mayor Bala was running against us. And at the end of the day, I really believe it's about moving forward. It's about building bridges. I'm a believer in building coalitions. I think James is doing a lot of important work for his ward, and we're going to continue to partner together. On the political side, thankful to have his support. We want to show people that we're going to build coalitions. We endorsed Andy Kim because he's going to be our next senator, and he's going to be great at it. And so it's important to let people know that it's about moving forward. It's about building bridges, building coalitions, and really getting the work done. If you have relationships with people at all levels of government, I find that it's easier to get things done, and that's all I really care about.
Is there even a remote possibility you consider endorsing him for mayor at some point next year?
Well, and as you know, I'm fully focused on November 5th. I think it's a monumental election for our country. I think it lays the foundation of what this country will be. I have 2 young kids, and so I'm fully invested in making sure that Vice President Harris wins, that we take back the majority in the House, and that's where my focus is and will continue to be. Then we have to get to January thereafter, after the Vice President's win. So that's where my focus is. I know there's a lot happening in 2025, and definitely more than happy to come back and talk about it. But for right now, my whole focus is on getting this majority and getting the Vice President elected.
All right, pretty reasonable, rational. So, but a lot of people would love to hear anything you have to say on the governor's race. I mean, you have at least 2 people that are colleagues that are widely expected to run, and Representatives Gottheimer and Sherrill, and one person that has not really been a friend or colleague of yours, Mayor Fulop, that's also running. Of course, there's other candidates, Sean Spiller, Steve Sweetie. Just any general thoughts on the field you'd be willing to share today?
And Mayor Baraka,
Thank you for that.
Who I was with today. And listen, I think it shows that New Jersey has a deep bench of people who are qualified candidates to run for statewide office. I've had the chance to work up close and personal with Josh and Mikey, and they're 2 exceptional individuals should they choose to run. And I think Mayor Baraka has done an incredible job in the city of Newark. He's been a leader for that city. He's shown that you can really uplift a city in ways that bring in new development, but also create more buy-in for the residents that have dedicated their lives to the city of Newark. I think if people are looking for a true progressive leader, urban leader, I think Baraka has done way more than some of the other folks in the race.
All right, well, I think that speaks for itself. So out of the local stuff, so North Hudson Regional Fire and Rescue, of course, you're a Union City native, graduated Union City High School, if I'm not mistaken. So now, what do you think about this development where North Hudson Regional Fire and Rescue in the coming years may disband over political infighting?
So one, it's about supporting the firefighters who are doing incredible work every single day. Former Congressman Pasquale was an incredible leader for firefighters throughout this country, and so I want to make sure that I continue to do that work and provide them with the resources that they need to protect our communities. I've always understood North Hudson Regional to be a really solid organization to provide incredible services. We've seen an uptick in fires, not just here in Hudson County, but throughout the country, especially in New York as well. So we need to focus on supporting our firefighters and making sure that they have the resources that they need to do their job and come home safely. That's of the most importance to me. We'll see how this evolves. We'll see what's actually possible and what's not. But I've always seen that entity as one that's really responsive to the community's needs, prioritizes safety, and has an incredible set of firefighters who do incredible work.
Well, I think most people can agree on that. Now, when we're talking about this issue, we have to talk about Braddock Park. Of course, this all started over this fight over the pre-K. And some people say exploiting a loophole. Some say it's necessity of life, anything in between. I mean, how do you see it?
So it's a question of what should be happening in the park. And it's a county park. North Bergen's used it for some of the facilities that they use to educate their children and students. I think what ultimately matters is ensuring that there's a productive outcome and making sure that ultimately the focus is kept on where North Bergen has the ability to educate its children, making sure the best use of county resources, those things can go hand in hand, and hopefully the tensions calm, and we can just have that productive conversation and get to a thoughtful outcome.
All right. And then finally, on CarePoint Health, of course, we've been talking for the better part of this year about, oh, it's going to close, it's not going to close, this one's going to own it, this one's going to own it, this is the CEO, now this one's the CEO. It's really just game of musical chairs, unfortunately. And I know you put up a bill to try to get some funding over there, and I don't know if that's had an impact or not yet, to be honest, but what do you think about how this situation's playing out?
Listen, it goes back to sort of what your values are, right? And having community hospitals is critically important to Hudson County, the three that exist, and in Jersey City, Hoboken, and Bayonne. You look at the universe of patients and people that they serve, and largely folks who need that access, right? So I'm always a goal-oriented person, right? I think the destination that we want to reach is ensuring that all three hospitals stay open, that they're appropriately managed, and that they always put the patients first, and we're supportive of all the healthcare professionals that are there. That needs to be everyone's focus. And how we get there and who the different stakeholders are, sure, that'll be part of the conversation, but we can't lose sight of what these hospitals mean for our communities, what they mean for the people that they serve. And so long as we stay focused on that, we can have a conversation about what the configuration of the three hospitals looks like moving forward.
And real quick, one thing that people may not know that we have in common, besides being Hispanic, is we're both former Jersey Journal interns.
That's
So
right.
any thoughts on that blockbuster announcement?
Yeah, listen, it's a sad day. I interned there back in the day. I have an immense amount of respect for the folks at the Journal, the folks who have gone through there. I think it's incredibly important to have local reporting, especially just how much information is sought out online, and you don't have the same type of gatekeepers and editors that you have at an institution like the Jersey Journal. So it's a step in the wrong direction. We have to figure out how we support local journalism and find a way that we can keep them as pillars of our democracy, both here in Hudson County and throughout the country. So tough day. I know people have been working really hard to keep that institution open, but we have to figure out a way how to reverse this trend that we're seeing with local media.
Congressman, thank you very much.
Sir.
Always a pleasure.
Pleasure's mine.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. We're not done yet. We'll be right back.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net. Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Comprehensive healthcare is here, here, and here. RWJ Barnabas Health is healing, enhancing, and investing in Hudson County with its two newest locations, Hoboken and Exchange Place. Within walking distance or accessible by mass transit, our locations combine convenience with primary and specialty care, including cardiology, women's health, orthopedics, cancer care, and more. Let's be healthy together.
Panapinto Properties, Jersey City, shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces and addresses your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panapintodevelopment.com. Panapinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Hudson County View live on Uncut, John Arhitis. So again, on CarePoint, So we learned on Monday that new CEO, Dr. Jawad Shah, and of course he's the founder and the CEO and the president of Insight Health. They're based out of Chicago. They had a management agreement with CarePoint for many months, and he had only been in the role for just about maybe 3 weeks and a day, maybe 2 days. And on Sunday night, he said he was resigning for personal reasons, according to the hospital chain. And so who came back to replace him? Well, none other than the guy that he replaced, and that's Dr. Anchita Malik. So this is just really, really hard to keep up with. I mean, you got to be following by the hour, not even by the day, to see what's happening with CarePoint here. But with that, I mean, so where are we? I mean, on that point. So I talked to the New Jersey Department of Health through a spokeswoman, and they told me that they received notification of management services agreements from Insight, as well as a certificate of need application from Hudson Regional Hospital for the transfer of ownership of the Bayonne Medical Center. Remember, originally, Insight was going to run Christ Hospital and the Hoboken University Medical Center, and HRH was going to run the BMC. Obviously, that's not happening now. And HRH, in a letter to the board, they made an offer to run all three hospitals. This is something they've been trying to do for many years, so this shouldn't shock anybody. But just a quick excerpt, HRH is offering to provide the same level of interim funding as the Insight-led venture, $25 million, to support the operations of Hoboken and Christ through a Chapter 11 reorganization. And you also may recall, those have been following really closely, that HRH owns the BMC and HUMC land, and I'm actually in receipt of a copy of a letter that went out last night that says they are looking to acquire the Christ Hospital land, and I have it on good authority that this is probably going to be what puts the deal over the top. But more on that later. There's a lot more happening. So on the political end, you guys probably saw that last week, that was on Thursday, Katie Brennan, who's an activist here in Jersey City, announced a bid for state assembly. That's the 32nd Legislative District, Ward C, D, and E in Jersey City, and all of Hoboken. And in her announcement, Katie said, "Today, I am proud to announce my candidacy to represent my Jersey City and Hoboken neighbors in the General Assembly. As a lifelong public servant who has fought for affordable housing in Hudson County and across New Jersey, I pledge to make our state more affordable for everyone." And you've seen her in Jersey City talking about affordability. She's a member of the Journal Square Community Association's Affordable Housing Task Force. And she's also worked for the Governor Kathy Hochul administration. She's a partner at Borrow Strategies. And of course, you guys all know she made national headlines in October 2018 when she accused Al Alvarez of raping her at a campaign event for then Democratic candidate Phil Murphy. That was actually an event that took place in 2017 before he was elected. And eventually in 2020, Murphy's campaign in the state of New Jersey reached a $1 million settlement with Brennan. And there's a lot more, but we're so short on time, just so many things going on. There was an ethics complaint against Jersey City Board of Education President Dejan Morris. That was dismissed last week as well. You might recall trustee Natalia Ayufi filed that the day before the quote-unquote coup, where Morris became the new president. She alleged that he was quote-unquote wined and dined by a firm that ended up getting a special counsel contract, or at least he was advocating for that contract, and it was dismissed in its entirety. Jersey City Mayor Stephen Fulop, a Democratic candidate for governor, rolled out 2 more assembly running mates. That's the 37th Legislative District. That's Bergen County, Josh Gottheimer country, and his candidates are, well, I'm gonna let you read that. Tamar Warburg and Dan Park. So, and also we have one more Ward C Council candidate, a not surprising one, Journal Square Community Association President Tom Zupa. He ran against Rich Baziano in 21. He came in 3rd place. Now he's back running with Commissioner Bill O'Day, and he's hoping for a different result. So with that, folks, we're gonna call it a week. Thanks so much for tuning in. You know I love our Halloween episode. We'll see you next time.